Alright, what's good everyone? Chris here, Chris Goes Outdoors. We're coming at you today. It's a very rainy weekend here in the New England area. I'm of course in Massachusetts, my usually hiking spots up in New Hampshire, the White Mountains, and it's just wet. And I didn't feel like driving up there doing a mountain in this type of weather. So I figured why not just show you some of the gear I take on a day trip. I'll do a separate video for what I take on overnight stuff too. So starting off, I usually pick one of these two packs. More than likely I go with this. This is an Osprey Stratos 36. It's become kind of my go-to. I really like it. It's super comfortable on me. I'll go over and show you a little bit about it in a second. Or occasionally, and this is pretty rare, I'll take, this is an Osprey Daylight pack. Works really well, it's very small. I can cram all this stuff in here pretty easily actually into this, but I just feel like this one is, it's more comfortable just in general. I'll show you the back of each. This one's super light. I don't know the initial weight. Very thin straps, a very thin waist belt. It's a little bit on the smaller side. This one does have a lot more storage space. This one is a top loading pack. It's got some spots down here, you know, sleeping bag or whatever if you want to store it in there. I don't use it for that, obviously. I keep my rain gear in there. I also have a pack cover for it. It came with the bag. Pack cover is located in here, this little zipper spot. So you got this little storage space here. You got this right here. It's a top loading pack, but you do have the option to unzip the front and you can get at all that stuff in here, which is a nice little addition. It's got some pockets up there. Lets me store all my electronics and stuff. It's got two. I keep most of the stuff I don't use in the far back one. The stuff I use more frequently in the front one. And then I just jam all the other stuff in here accordingly. I like this a lot for the suspension. So you can see the suspension here. It's got nice thick straps on it. They are vented. It works really well for me. I have a carabiner here that I attach a little towel to and a small compass. If I use the water bladder, you can see over there, I usually string it this side through so I can drink through there. I hook it all through there. Got the hip belt pockets, which I usually store some of my electronic stuff for the GoPro. In this pocket, I usually keep a map and stuff in this one. Yeah, it's kind of my go-to bag. I really dig it. I don't want to go super in-depth on it, just because this isn't a review for an Osprey Stratos 36. So yeah, the Daylight works good too. It's got some good features. It's got the water pockets. It's got a very small front pocket and a larger inner one. There is a separator inside, right there. If I bring a water thing, I slip it right down in the back here. And yeah, it's not bad, you know, for a smaller, just like relaxed hike. I don't mind bringing that at all. All right, so next up, we got some trekking poles. I think that's pretty obvious. These I bought on Amazon and extremely surprised how well these have held up. I bought these, I believe they were $45. It says Cascade Mountain Tech. I don't know the exact model number. They are still available on Amazon. They make them with a rubber handle and a cork handle. The cork, I believe, is $5 or $10 additional, but they're carbon fiber poles. At least they claim they're carbon fiber. They are very light. I really like these. I've had no issue with the locking mechanism on these. You can see the rubber feet. This was just recently. They actually both broke through. The actual tips of the pole broke through the rubber feet, so I got to pull the rubber feet off, but yeah, whatever. It's not bothering me too much. I do recommend them. I was, again, genuinely surprised how well these have held up. Minus the tips. You know, the tips aren't built to last forever, and I've definitely taken on some pounding terrain, so it was only a matter of time till the tips broke through. I have a little bit of duct tape. It's actually Gorilla Tape around one of them, just in case I need it, but it's there, whatever. Surprisingly trusty poles, I gotta admit. I keep them on the side of the bag if I'm not using them. A lot of times I don't use them on the uphill. I will use them on the downhill though, try to spare the knees. I'm not getting any younger. Not a bad thing to have. Again, I keep them on the side of the pack here. Next, I'll show this. This is my headlamp. You might think, why would you bring that on a day hike? And to me, it's just, why not have it around just in case? It's one of the few just in case items I like to have for a day hike. In any event, I get lost, you know, it's nice to have some vision. or you know, I get hurt and maybe it takes me a little longer to get down, I have the ability to see well enough. It's not very heavy. This is the black Diamond Revolt rechargeable batteries. It's got a bunch of different settings on it. Works well for me. I just like to have it in there for peace of mind. That's in there. I keep it in a little Ziploc bag, just in the event it rains. That way it's not getting all soaked. Next, I'll show you, and I don't necessarily take this on every day hike, but I do like to bring it fairly often. This is my cook kit. I'll just undo it quick. It's a Snow Peak, the Mini Solo titanium set. I got a little Snow Peak titanium spork in here. Just show you what's inside, might as well. I got the cozy here. It's got a lid. It's a 700, you can see the cup inside there, I believe. It's a small cup, it goes up to right there. I'm not gonna take it all out. I have a whole video on this cook set too, you can check out. It's a 750 milliliter pot, and I've been trying out the gas stove recently. This is just an MSR. It's a very small gas can. So I've been trying that out, and this is the burner and a small Bic lighter. While I don't take them on all of the day hikes, again, I have been taking them on many of the day hikes. I just enjoy a nice warm meal at the top of the summit. And I get plenty of people that come up to me and are moderately jealous that they're snacking on cold deli meats or sandwiches or something. So yeah, it's not a bad thing to have. I also, of course, carry a map with me. I always have a map of the trail that I'm on. I'll typically have a map of the general area that I'm in too, just so I can see what's around the area I'm in. Again, just in case, not that I would need it. Maybe I get done with a hike really quick and I want to shoot up somewhere else after. It's nice to have around. Two things I have, clothing wise, that are always in the bag. This is no matter the weather, no matter the forecast. It's just, again, peace of mind type things. And I think especially in the White Mountains where the weather can change pretty quick, they're helpful, I think anyway. I just have a pair of fleece gloves. This is a older pair I have. They're pretty beaten up, but I have them around. They got holes poking through them, but you know, they work. They cover your hands, they'll keep them warm, at least for a little while. So I always carry that around. And this is a fairly recent addition. This is a Frog Togs Dry Ducks rain jacket. So I keep this in the bottom of my pack, typically where the sleeping bag goes. I keep the gloves in there as well. It's just nice to have, you know, just some rain gear. It came with a pair of pants too, but I don't keep the pants with me currently. It's not exactly the most fashionable jacket, but it is pretty good in the rain. What more can you ask of a raincoat besides keeping you dry? And it's fairly light. Did have another raincoat. It is heavier though, so I just kind of keep that one home. I use that more when I'm out and about, and this one just kicks it in my pack. So this one's always in the pack. All right, so you've seen this stuff right here. Gonna go into the bag real quick. This bag is just here to represent my food bag. There's some Pop-Tarts and some Star-Kissed tuna salad in there right now. I'll usually bring Pop-Tarts, granola bars, protein bars. That's about it really. Unless I bring my cook kit, I typically will bring some of the Knorrs. I think it's Knorrs, the Knorrs pasta sides or rice sides. They're $1. And yeah, you can't really beat them. Just add water meals. I highly recommend the teriyaki one. Teriyaki noodles are where it's at, man, let me tell you. I'll bring them usually if I bring the cook kit, which again has been very often lately. I'll occasionally bring some candy. I'm kind of fond of Starburst and Reese's. Snickers are pretty good too. The tuna salad packets are great for Star-Kissed. So yeah, that just represents my food bag. I don't bring too much up there, especially just for a day hike. I do bring my Sawyer filter. I have that at all times. One of those things, will I need it? Highly doubtful, but nice to have some peace of mind just to have it with me. This is the 64-ounce bag that comes with it. I haven't had any issue with it leaking yet, knock on wood. I take that with me, and yeah, it's nice to have the filter with me. I go through water like something that goes through a lot of water. I drink a ton of it. We'll go over that shortly too at the, we'll go over it now. I've been bringing the hydration pack a lot more recently. I actually have two of them. This is my Camelback one. This is a 2 liter. And I also bought one recently on Amazon from a company called Source, which is a 3-liter one, but it's very thin. It's thinner than this, and it's longer. And the issue I have with that one is if I fill it to 3 liters, it takes up almost like a quarter of that bag. I'll use either this one, the Source one, and I like to have one water bottle with me just in case. No real reason in particular, I just like to have that one with me. I don't typically like going up without any less than 3 liters of water, which is, weighs so much. Yeah, but I drink it so quick. So yeah, that's what I like to have for water. All right, and also gotta have first aid, so always have the first aid kit at hand, ready to go. I'll give you a brief look as to what's in there. I don't go really overboard with it. I figure if I get really hurt, there's probably not much I'm gonna be able to do. So I'll show you just what I got quick. This is usually actually in the top part of my bag. So we got sunscreen, a absolute necessity for a man as pale as me. Toothpaste, toothbrush, they just always come. They're just in there from day hikes and other hikes. Toilet paper, always nice to have. Don't leave home without it, right? This is just some bandages, some hand cleansing wipes, some sponges, stuff like that. Some Neosporin I think is in there. I have some aspirin here as well. And last but not least, I have a little tub of Benadryl here, some medical tape, and a small dropper type dispenser. This is Camp Suds. It's just a really concentrated soap. 2 drops of this, and I feel like that's more than enough to get your hands clean. So I just put it in a tiny, tiny bottle. All right, and I zoomed in a little closer for this part just to get a little bit more detail. I bring a fair amount of electronic stuff with me on hikes as well. Obviously, I record all my hikes, so I have my 2 main cameras, both of which are GoPros. I'm using the Hero 4 Silver for both. This thing right here, I've used about 6 different selfie sticks, just testing out which ones I like, which ones I don't like. I got this idea from a guy who had a video. He took a monopod and added a GoPro adapter to the bottom. So this is just a monopod. It lengthens to about 6 feet in total. And where the foot was, where you plant it on the bottom, I removed that, used a 1/4 screw and a GoPro tripod adapter and glued it onto the bottom, and it legit fits perfect. And I just put an elastic around there when I initially glued it together to hold it, and I just never took that off. So yeah, you can see this is where I glued on the tripod GoPro adapter right here. There's a 1/4 bolt that goes through, it connects to the tripod adapter, it screws in where the foot originally was, and then I glued the piece together as well. The elastics have just been on there since, I just never took them off. And it has 2 other pieces that just lengthen this part right here. So just to show you a little better there, I'm using a Editige. It's the ETM001 microphone, and it's their fur windscreen that comes with it. You can buy it all as a pack, and their 3.5 millimeter to USB cable. The USB plugs into the side right here. Inside the GoPro for the external audio, I drilled that hole out in the case myself. I have a video on how to do that. I have a video reviewing the ETM001 as well. Works great for external audio, this thing. I have a issue with breaking the cables, unfortunately. I bump into things and it appears they just bend. So I fixed this one up a little bit. And yeah, works great. Have it mounted on with a binder clip and some elastics to keep it all in nice and snug. All right, so besides the vlogging style setup, I use this as well. And this is a homemade PVC backpack mount. This is the one in particular that I use typically with the daylight pack. The one with the Stratos. On my last trip, I actually just recently broke this piece. Tried to duck down below a tree that was hanging over the trail. Knew I wasn't gonna make it. I actually set it right before I tried to get under and lost my balance underneath, flung up a little bit, and it snapped this part off, so I gotta remake that. But this is the one I use for the daylight pack. I put it in the pack and it gets a nice little view from behind me. So it sticks out of the pack a little. Got the camera out here. I guess just kind of a cool alternative look. I keep, again, the GoPro. This is a GoPro Hero 4 Silver. I just keep that in the full dive type case just to keep it protected, you know, when it's bouncing into trees and stuff. So works pretty well. Gets good video, not good audio. I usually just put music over the audio for it. Works out pretty well. Gets some cool views too. So no complaints about that. Except that I have to build a new one because I have broken the one for the Stratos. I also bring, for electronics, I'll bring this. This is just a GoPro screw tightener. It helps you get these things on really tight, and helps you get them off when you don't need them on there anymore. Not an electronic, but I just keep a little Gerber knife with me. It's really light. Yeah, it'll make do for anything I probably really need it to do. 2 GoPro batteries I also keep with me. This one I do typically have to change because I just usually leave that running. This one's just typically running for until the battery dies, which is usually about an hour and a half. So I typically switch that one out. I've never had to switch this one out on a hike, just because every time I vlog, I turn it off. I turn the camera off immediately after to conserve battery, but I like having 2 with me just in case. I also keep an extra memory card with me that has return info, so if you happen to find it on a trail somewhere, please do return it. But yeah, if this one ever runs out of space, I'll pop a new memory card in there. There's 64 gig cards that I keep with me. I keep this, just a little piece of microfiber cloth. I use that to clean the lenses of the cameras, because they do get dirt on them sometimes. They get sweat, stuff like that on there. And last but not least, I keep some business cards. Business cards just have my YouTube channel and stuff on there. I get a ton of questions from people, hey, what are you recording? Like, what, you do something with the footage? And I like to forward them to the YouTube channel. Hopefully they'll check it out. One of my last trips, the Osceolas in New Hampshire, I had so many people ask me about it and I forgot the cards. And I was like, of all times. So I really like to bring them with me. Yeah, so I hope the video was helpful, just to give you an idea. I always like seeing, you know, people's videos, what they like to take with them. I feel like it's always helpful, give you some ideas, what you need, what you don't need. So if you thought it was helpful, feel free to drop a like. Comments are cool too. Subscriptions are great. Shares are even better. And yeah, so yeah, great, awesome, sweet, wonderful. This is Chris Goes Outdoors. We'll catch you next time.
So we almost just died by a monster wing gut.